All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us on our episode number 3. I'm Jason.
I'm Steve.
And you're Steve. And we have
See you later.
Yeah. And I've been having internet issues since almost a week now. So that's fun. We have another guest tonight, Ali from Muse Design. We're going to get to her in a little bit.
Cool.
But I wanted to talk about music because I made some music in the past and we're kind of working on it, and hopefully we're going to do something together and maybe make a video for my channel, my YouTube channel, Signs of Amusement. I kind of like to make some kind of Disney-esque footage that you can tie the music into. But it's been kind of fun, collaborating. You put the drums down on stuff that I made and go back and forth. I really like to get your brother involved too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
another guitar player. Cool.
I just read your email about wanting him. You wanted him to listen to that one song. So.
Yeah, and maybe do some lead on it.
Yeah, I'll have him do that.
But anyway, be sure to subscribe and follow us, and we'll keep you updated on that.
Wizards and witches, wherever you dwell, give us a hint by ringing the bell.
Winds in the east, mist coming in. Like something is brewing, about to begin.
This candle blessed us with a miracle.
Take it, Kronk. Feel the power.
Oh, I can feel it.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Wrong lever! There's no mystical energy field controls my destiny. It's all a lot of simple tricks and nonsense.
Well, I happen to be a wizard, a soothsayer, a prognosticator.
Some all-powerful genie. You probably can't even get us out of this cave.
Don't try to frighten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
All right, so our guest tonight is Ali with Muse Design.
Yay!
And I'm even gonna bring your little information down there.
Yay! Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here finally.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? What are you working on right now?
Well, I just finished 6 cosplays last week for a fantasy festival that happened over the weekend. So I took 2 days off to recuperate, and
nice.
I just got some sweatshirts and 15 hats for the fire department to embroider. So
there you go.
Wow.
And Jungle Cruise map that we're working on. Was I supposed to say that? Did I just spill something?
No, you're fine.
Okay, good. We're working on a really awesome Jungle Cruise map. So I've been working on drawing that today. And with the Signs of Amusement, we're going to be putting it out for people to purchase. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, and if you saw my my messages, I just listed the other 2 maps today on my Etsy.
We saw that. This is
so we have the 100 Acre Woods and Neverland. And they're all laser inscribed or engraved.
So what material is it?
It's like a 20-pound aged paper. It looks like a treasure map already, but I burned the edges too, so I'll just give it an extra flair.
Cool.
That's pretty cool, though.
they look fantastic. They're so cool looking. So I'm really excited because when you're drawing it, you know, you can kind of picture what it's going to look like, but when the wood actually burns, you know, there's little flaws and fibers in the wood. And so as it is being burned by the laser, you get just this really cool depth that doesn't come through when you're drawing it on the screen. So when he actually burns it, it just turns out amazing. They just look so
cool.
Yeah, and I
saw
actually
one picture, and that was it.
I actually want to do like a 3D like plywood version where it looks like the map, but like the points of interest will be kind of like a pop-up thing.
That would be so cool.
Yeah,
like
that's
those
the next version.
That would be
it won't pop up, but it'll be like almost like a peg that you can put in there, you know. I had planned on doing a Disney version with that, with the monorail track. You can go around. So 3D map, kind of cool. That would be pretty cool. But all right, that's what we're working on now. Why don't we get, I don't know where that came from. Why don't we get into where you got started? Like what made you start making stuff, or I don't know.
Well, I've always been a huge Disney fan. When I was younger, my dad had family and my mom both that lived in Disneyland. And so every other year we would either go down to Disneyland and we'd stay in Sacramento and LA with family. And then we'd always go to Disneyland. And on the off years, they would come here and visit us. So obviously we love visiting them way more because it meant Disneyland. So I've been going to Disneyland every couple of years since I was like 2. And I just love the magic, especially Fantasyland. I really remember that vividly from being super little, but just absolutely loving how immersive it felt like for fairy tales. And I just loved that. And what happened was I was a CNA and I got hurt on the job and I couldn't work for a while. But I had been given a bunch of gift cards to craft stores. I've always been kind of crafty. And my mother-in-law kind of got me started because she was like, oh, by the way, they have this Cricut machine on sale. And, you know, here's your gift for your birthday and Christmas because they're close together. And so I went and bought one. And that just kind of started me making shirts. And my family, like I said, are huge Disney fans. So my sister-in-law was like, hey, can you make me this? Can you make me that? And then her sister was like, oh, I want one too. And it just kind of grew from there.
That sounds familiar. I bought a vinyl cutter, not a Cricut, but I got one that has a roll. So people like, oh, you can make me a decal for my back window, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's kind of how it got started for me too.
Yeah.
So, would you say you discovered the magic of Disney?
I would definitely say that. I mean, my family really introduced it to me. And once I discovered the magic, then there was just no stopping.
Yeah. It's the name of our podcast.
I know, that's why I dropped
it. Steve and I have this thing, and I don't know why we do it, but we got to get close to the microphone.
Yeah, it's up to get close to the mic.
It sounds a little better.
There you go.
All right. So when did you start selling stuff actually for the first time?
During the pandemic, actually. Okay. During the pandemic, I started making masks and these matching ears. And I started doing these sets, like a drawstring backpack and a mask and these ears. And these are actually a genuine Disney-made base that I started customizing because people were like, if we have to wear a mask to go to the park, like we want to be on theme. We want to have like all matching and kind of Disney bound with it almost. And so I was like, oh, well, I can do that. So, and that kind of just really pushed it even more because before it was kind of more like to family and friends. And then that was really where I started getting people from outside that group buying things. And I took a trip with my husband to Orlando, and we went to Disney World, and I brought a set that I'd made, a backpack and ears and a mask, and I had people stopping me in the parks asking me, like, where do I get that? And I was like, well, let me hook you up.
Yeah. So, hopefully you had business cards with you.
I did, and I ran out, and then I was like, dang, I should have like done more.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. So you said you were a nurse. What did you say?
I was a nurse's assistant. Yeah, certified nurse. Yeah.
Is that your background? Did you go to school for design or anything? Or
I went to school for design, but then I was like, this is a lot of debt, and I don't want to be working as a Walmart greeter when I'm 90 to try and pay it back. And I couldn't find anything in the art field. Originally, I was going to do, this is pretty crazy now, but I was going to do backgrounds for video gaming. And I started at the Art Institute down in Portland, and then quickly realized, like, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills like this. So I've got to get a real job. And so I started working as a CNA and went to school for that and everything. But I used that job to fund my Disney trips. And I was always crafty. So a lot of times I worked in pediatrics. So I was doing crafts and things with kids just to keep them entertained, give them something to do, and give them a little bit of interactivity. Because, you know, they're sitting in these facilities not able to do a lot. And it's just nice to be able to give them something that brings them some joy, helps them use their creativity. Even if they feel like physically they can't do a lot, they could still create things and still make art and just really enjoy it. And of course, because it's kids, a lot of them wanted Disney stuff. So there was a lot of cartoon characters and coloring and things like that happened. But, you know, it seems like Disney just stays with me no matter what area of life I went into.
Okay. So, how many times have you been to Disney World versus Disneyland, you know?
I have been to Disney World one time.
Okay. Well, me too.
I have honestly lost count of how many times I've been to Disneyland, but I think it was probably around 12 to 14, somewhere in there.
Steve, how many times have you been to Disney World?
Disney World? Yeah. Zero.
Although the last time I've been there it's like 20 years now. It's just before Everest. Expedition
Everest. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Steve kind of had a background in video games as well, trying to do the 3D modeling and stuff. So
yeah,
and but I didn't
get into. I started with tech support and wanted to get into the 3D animation part of it because that's what I went to school for. And then my boss left, and he grabbed me and took me with him to his other job. So I never got to do any of the 3D animation stuff. I was doing all the graphical stuff instead. So,
so you closed your Etsy shop, is that right? And
I did. I moved off Etsy and went to Go Imagine because Etsy's fees were just getting to be too much for me. And I wasn't having a lot of traffic from Etsy. It was people that like knew me and knew that to go there. So I opened Go Imagine instead because it's $10 a month and they give me my own website with it. And it was just kind of like a better deal. And they weren't so... I feel like Etsy is really full of a lot of people that sell the same exact thing. And it's really hard to stand out and make a name for yourself there. Whereas Go Imagine, there are still a lot of products, but not everybody's necessarily making the same things. So it's a little bit easier to stand out and differentiate yourself from everybody else who also owns a Cricut. And one of the things that I did to branch out from that was I got this. This is a white toner printer, so I can actually do full color printing on a shirt, which is more. And then over there in the corner, that is little brother. That is my embroidery machine. So I can do a lot of different things that other people just don't have. And Etsy really wants to pigeonhole you into one thing. Like if you make shirts, you just make shirts. They really don't want you to have like listings of other things that you do. And I like to do a lot of different things. So Go Imagine just was a better fit for me in the end.
Yeah, that's kind of similar how YouTube's algorithm works, and probably why my channel is not doing as good as it should be, because I want to do like a video over here and this type of video and whatever. So I'm gonna break the mold though, because I did it on Etsy. So
do it, go for it.
So that printer will print directly onto the garment, or does it print onto a transfer?
It prints onto a transfer, and then you put that down with adhesive onto the garment, and then it bonds the ink to it. So it does feel a little, it does kind of have that a little bit of a plasticky feel, but it's not like vinyl plasticky. Like it still bends really well, and you don't have to worry about throwing it in the dryer. So it lasts a long time. I have a hoodie that I did with it about 2.5 years ago that I wear all the time because it's one of my favorites, and it's held up really well. Even with my husband doing laundry, so survive that.
So
is it a press that you use, or?
Yeah. So, and that's my heat press right there.
Okay, there. Yeah.
Secure it. It's a little, because you do have to have a slightly more professional press to get it to adhere. There's a lot of pressure that goes in to really bond those fibers together. So I did get that one off Amazon, but you have to really crank it down so it has the right amount of pressure. But I mean, vinyl's still good too. I'm not knocking vinyl, and if people have Cricuts and stuff and it makes them happy, go for it. I'm not a huge fan of the Cricut brand because I feel like there's a lot of microtransactions on their side, and that their customer service for what you're paying for. Also, and I'm going to say this because I have a moment, but I am left-handed, and all of the tools for Cricut are for right-handed people. So I rather would buy either Silhouette or one of those guys' tools, because if you are not left-handed, you really can't use Cricut stuff. And that's, sorry, my soapbox, but I just feel like craft should be for everybody.
I'm left-handed. But actually I'm kind of what do they call it, ambidextric? So
I feel like a lot of left-handed people have to be because of the way the world is.
But like in like school growing up, I could go on chalkboard or whiteboard, and I can literally write with both hands.
Yeah. I used to be able to write hello in English and bonjour in French at the same time with the hands and stuff. That was like my party trick. That was the only cool thing I did in high school. So
yeah. My teacher used to she used to just like, hey, can you go up and write your name on the board? And I would write my first and last name at the same time.
There you go.
If I did that, it'd be a bunch of scribbles.
It does take some time, but I like if I play baseball and stuff, then I will usually throw right-handed and bat right-handed. Because a lot of people don't know how to pitch to a left-handed batter, and they would just end up nailing you with the ball. So I feel like a lot of times with left-handed people, you got to learn that ambidextry because it's a survival skill.
Actually, like baseball and hockey and even guitar playing, like I'm all right-handed that way. But writing and using, utensils and stuff, I'm left-handed. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You're weird.
Yeah, I'm weird. Well, actually, I am, because my brother is left-handed, but he's all the way left-handed, except for hockey. He always, but like I try to teach him on a guitar, and he's like not being able to do it, and I'm like, you're left-handed. He couldn't even grasp it, So
I do play the guitar right-handed because it is easier as a left-handed person to play a right-handed guitar than to play a left-handed guitar, because all that chord.
A right-handed guitar is still, you're still doing your hand. I mean, like you're doing both, but to me, you're still using your hand. So
Yeah.
That's why I play drums.
Yeah. Well, I can't do that either because I couldn't do this and didn't do my feet, and it was never in sync. So
yeah.
But my brother could do it a little bit anyway. So, but yeah, the stuff that you did was sounding pretty good already. So, so did you ever think about making a YouTube channel?
I've thought about it. I have one video on it. I mostly do TikTok because ADHD. I have a very short attention span. So I kind of do shorter stuff. And when I try and put it on YouTube, they're like, "Did you mean a story? Did you mean short story?" So I'm trying to take a bunch of the short stories and link them together into a long story to hopefully start doing that. Because I do a lot of tutorials on especially costume building and prop building and stuff like that. So I would like to do that eventually, but I have to be able to make longer videos. So it's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the opposite for me. I'm like, oh, I got to force myself to make a short out of these things. So I told you I was doing that. So I've only done a couple. I need to get into it. But I mean, for me, I like doing longer videos, and then I'll use the shorts as a little promotion for the longer ones, I guess. I don't know.
So how did you two guys meet to do this collaborating?
I don't know who was following. Instagram. Yeah, I don't know who's following who first, but we just started talking. I think it was mostly because of the puppets. That's probably what it was. I think I messaged you because of the puppets, and I had that idea, which I still want to do, which we won't talk about. But because I didn't want anyone to steal that idea.
Yeah.
But
right. I was working for this. It wasn't even a B movie studio. It was like a D movie studio with this guy who is super, super talented and amazing at coming up with ideas. And he knew people at Leica Studios, which does a lot of the stop action animation and stuff. And he wants to do a webisode of these puppets. The only issue that we had is that every week he wanted to take the show in a new direction. And so I would build props and I would build sets and I would make costumes and I would build puppets and I'd post pictures of all the stuff I was making. And then he'd come back the next week and be like, "Oh, I changed the script and we're going to make this character the focus now. And now I need you to build this puppet." And after about 3 years, I was like, I can't invest any more into this. I need a real script. I can't, it was a lot. It was a lot. A lot of fun stuff, though. We made a lot of really cool things. I made a lot of awesome puppets. But in the end, it was just, I needed to find something. I needed to concentrate on what I was doing more than concentrating on the puppet show. So I wish him all the best.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did you, were you able to keep some of those puppets or did he have them all or?
I gave him all the puppets. I only kept a couple that were still in process that I hadn't finished yet. I had this really cool witch that was actually made out of a Halloween decoration, and she was really, really creepy and cool. But most of them I gave to him and just let him keep because I wasn't going to film anything with them, and it just became a space issue. The guy had to have over 100 puppets, honestly, over 100, I'm sure. So, and a lot of them were huge. So just, where do you put them? They got to go somewhere.
Yeah. And now they come to life, right? And they're stored in the garage.
You don't want them walking around your house. No, just kidding. Yeah.
I was thinking that, we can actually show them.
Yep. So that was one.
That's what you were trying to do.
Yeah, that one I did.
I was trying to pull it up, and then everything just failed.
It's probably 3.5 feet tall, and she weighs approximately 42 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And I just did reconstruction on her. I redid her hair and her outfit. I had to stitch a lot of her fabric back together. I repainted her and I fixed her eyes. The mechanism in her eyeballs is like a string that pulls to a cord that your fingers slide through. And just like the strings wear out after a while. So I redid those too. So yeah, I didn't build that one personally, but I did kind of give her a rehab.
Why does you weigh so much?
So there are a lot of wooden joints because she's an older puppet. And so there's a lot of like wooden carved pieces and metal hinges and stuff. And they just add a lot of weight. And your arm actually goes through her body down by her belly. So your arm goes way up inside her because she's so big. So there's a lot of like foam. There's a lot of wood. A lot of people nowadays, they'll make the puppets with a piece of PVA foam. They'll use lighter materials and plastic because eventually, strings wear out. Eventually, especially people would use cardboard back in the old days, and cardboard will absorb the oils from your hand and eventually deteriorate. So a lot of puppets that are inexpensive and lighter were made with materials that don't last. So the reason this one's lasted so long is because she was made with heavier duty material. But that also meant that she was heavier in general. So she's really an arm workout. I performed with her a couple times, and that's an arm day. That's an arm workout.
Well, cool. I know you have other ones on here somewhere.
Yeah.
Here's one.
That one, yeah. So that one I made entirely by hand. And if you notice, he's got an earring as a tribute to one of my most favoriteest Imagineers.
Mr. Rhodey.
Exactly. He's got the Joe Rhodey ear. But I kind of built him to look like a different actor, and it wasn't intentional at first, but then once it started, I couldn't stop. But I kind of ended up turning him into what's his name? It's in Jurassic Park, and he played in. Yes, exactly, Jeff Goldblum. Yeah. So I think it was something about the beard and the way the eyes came out, but it was just real.
I can see it.
I can see it. Yeah.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Look, I actually commented on that one.
Yeah.
And so did Adam.
Yep.
Adam Kruginger. He's a decent puppet maker on YouTube.
He is. I got a lot of ideas from him, but I have dyslexia and ADHD, and basically what that translates to is I can 3D model in my brain. So I can actually like pattern make in my brain. And that's a blessing and a curse because it's really hard to follow other people's patterns, like paper patterns, because they're only in 2D. So I watched a lot of Adam's videos when I was trying to figure out how to build puppets because I could see things in my mind, but trying to manipulate the materials in real life, he's just got a really good way of showing you how to actually build puppets. So definitely recommend checking out his YouTube channel if that's something you're into.
Yeah. And he's going through cancer treatments right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully, actually, he has a brain tumor or something, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
But pulling for him. He's been following him for a while too, and so far things are looking pretty good. So
I think they caught it at the right time. So definitely wishing him all the best and a full recovery.
Speaking of hospitals and stuff, you had surgery.
And
during recovery, you apparently were watching LMG vids.
Lots. Yep. So the injury when I got hurt on the job was I tore pieces of my hip joint, so they had to go put that back together. And so I watched a lot of the ride throughs, and he just had such good low light video. It really was like being there. So I couldn't go, but I kind of got to go anyway, which was the nice
Yeah. You know, when I first saw Chris's videos, I didn't want to watch them because they were so low light. I could see the ceiling and all that. I was telling him that. And I go, I didn't want to watch your videos because I didn't want to see all that.
Don't want to see behind the magic.
Yeah.
Now I force one.
Now it's like we watch it all the time. And
I force one on you like every week now.
Yeah. Yeah, he just came out with his Splash Mountain yesterday. The last day was yesterday.
Yeah. That was crazy how many people were waiting in line for hours to be able to go on it and be like, I went on it on the last day. And I heard there were people like trying to get bottles of water to sell on eBay and be like, water from Splash Mountain. It's like, all the water's connected, so it's all the rides, but okay.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if the rides are connected, but the lakes and the waterways are.
Yeah, I think some of the rides are connected, just because they have the same like filtration area.
Yeah, that might be.
But
but like the lake water is different from the ride water.
That is. And they dye that on purpose, and
so you can't see through. Murky green. God, sorry.
Your eyes again.
I have something in my eye that keeps bugging me.
He's getting emotional.
Water's murky. No, I was petting my dog, and I think I got a dog hair in my eye.
Oh,
yeah, it's in the corner of my eye. Anyway, okay, let's go back to Disney. When you go to Disney, what is your go-to? What do you do first? And do you go in the morning, like rope drop, or? I
will go just after rope drop, so all the crazies have already run ahead. And I'm probably the only person who does this, but I love to go to the windows on Main Street and look in the windows. I have ever since I was little, loved those windows. And so when they were broken down for the longest time, that was such a big disappointment to me, because that is what really, to me, starts my Disney trip, is seeing those come to life. Because at home, that's how I would play, was with dolls and stuff, Disney stuff. And so that was kind of the start of the magic right there. And then, they're so good at immersion. When you walk into the park first thing, they've got the music playing, and then you walk by the candy shop and they got the scent blowing out, so you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can hear it, it's all around you. And so it's just part of that whole entering Main Street experience to me, is looking at those windows. So that, and I know that's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I know it's not my husband's. Let's go get Space Mountain right away. But I'm like, okay, but we got to swing by the windows as well.
Now, have you seen so a lot of people don't know about this window, but there's a window with the old trains in there. Do you know that window?
That's where the barbershop used to be, right?
I don't know about that barbershop, but
it's down where the fire station is, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, it's right next to Walt's apartment. It's the very first window right by the gate.
Yeah, I have.
There's a bunch of old trains in there.
Yeah, like in the 60s and 70s, that was a barbershop.
I never knew that. Yeah.
They had a lot of strange stores back when they first opened, stuff that was normal for Main Street to make it feel very Main Street. Now we're like, why would you have that? Why would you have a lingerie shop in Disneyland? That doesn't.
Yeah, cigar shops and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if anybody bought any lingerie from Disneyland and still has it.
Sure, still has it. That I don't know, but I'm sure people did. Maybe not enough, and that's why we don't have one there now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your first ride that you would go on, though, or is it change up all the time, or?
It changes. I basically have a top 5, and they're in no particular order. So I have to hit at least my top 5 every trip. My husband's one of those ones who's like, we need to ride every single ride or we're not getting our money's worth. And I'm more like, I want to eat treats. I need to get my little raspberry macaron, and I got to go over and, you know, sit down and watch the ducks right next to Matterhorn on the little old gummy bears and boats that no longer exist. And I like to people watch. I like to absorb the atmosphere. I like to just sit there and go, you know, I'm in Disneyland.
Yeah. No, that's totally me. And your husband sounds like my brother.
Yeah. Well, we'll let them go together next time.
Yeah. I literally can't go with family anymore because it's always like, let's do this and this and this. And I'm like, I just want to hang out with my friends.
We were just talking about that in our text, where now it's like everybody's such in a rush to hit every single ride, and you don't even like what you were saying, you don't even absorb the atmosphere or the magic. You know, you're trying to do everything and hit every ride as possible, you know, as much as possible. And
I mean, like you said, I think people are trying to get their money's worth because they probably don't get down there as much as like we do.
Right. Yeah.
And like I said, I used to live in Huntington Beach, and that's when I first had my annual pass. Now we go there just after work, and I had to go there and eat. Yeah. And like
exactly. That's what I did. So I didn't have to drive that 91.
Well, and that's one of the things that they're saying now, that they think that the crowds are so much less now and the crowd patterns have changed because you don't have a lot of those annual pass holders dropping in after work and meeting up for drinks or food or whatever. One of the really interesting things that Disney's not talking about right now is that their spending in the parks per guest is down. And I think it's because a lot of the locals would come and they would buy food and they would have drinks and they'd meet up with friends and they would do shopping while they were there. And now that they've cracked down with so many blackout dates and limited passes and stuff, they don't have the local as much. And with the prices of the park going up in general, people who travel from a distance are trying to be smarter about their dollars so they're not spending their money like somebody who's local would. Somebody who could buy something big and take it home, as opposed to someone who can't buy something big and take it on a plane. So,
that brings up the point that I bring up every time. I'm out of state. You're out of state. We're all out of state. But Disney yet caters to the California market still by having a lower price pass, and they can pay monthly.
Right.
I can't even get I can get the most expensive pass, but that's not really worth it to me because I don't go down as much.
Yeah.
And, we have vlogger friends that live down there and they can't even get in every day. So it's not even worth it. But like you said, they're limiting passes. So I'm literally blocked out because I can't buy the pass that I want. I could buy a regular day ticket or something, but literally if I go like 3 times, I would have paid for the pass, so.
Right. That's what we had annual passes right before the pandemic, because we could go 2 or 3 times a year and we'd get our money's worth for our annual pass. And like I said, I have family that stay down there or that live down there, so we could stay with them. So it was relatively inexpensive for us to go. But, the blackout dates and unless you're buying the most expensive pass, which, really, if you're not going to be able to be there a couple times, at least once or twice every couple months, you're just not going to get your money's worth out of it. So,
it's a weird situation. I don't know what they're thinking. They want to bring in people out of state, but they don't want to cater to them. So it's kind of weird.
I think they're really caught in a strange land right now. They're kind of in this uncharted territory where they have swung the balance so far the opposite direction between things being too affordable and too many people and too many, as some might say, too many locals, to, we want more people from out of state to be able to come and enjoy it and not get here and be turned away at the gate, and then pricing it so that people out of state can't afford to come. So it's kind of a weird place that they're in. And if you look, the opposite thing is happening down in Florida. In Florida, they can't give tickets away. It's what, $99 a ticket for 4 days right now? Like, going to Disney World as opposed to going to Disneyland is much more bang for your buck at the moment, the way that prices are. But that hasn't historically always been the case. So I think a lot of people blamed Bob Chapek for things that probably were not all entirely his fault.
No, we've said that before too. A lot of things kind of fell upon him. Like we were saying, Iger bought, they purchased Fox, and then he's like, "This is your mess now," and then the whole budgeting thing, So
yeah. Well, and there was a lot of things he wasn't allowed to do, things that he wanted to do that he was absolutely not allowed to do. And I don't know. He might have been really good for Disney. We won't know, but he might have been terrible too. Who knows? He really didn't get a chance, but I think Iger really set himself up to be the hero, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's going to fix everything now that he's back," and he literally didn't. So I think a lot of people are starting to see that. But I mean, Disney has been through a lot of weird leadership changes. They've been through a lot of strange board situations, and this is just one of those weird times. It's going to be a historical precedent at some point.
We need to get Eisner back.
When Eisner had what's his name? I think it was Webb with him.
Wells.
Yeah, Wells. They were a great 1-2 punch, and that's what made Walt so good. Is he had Roy, and so with Eisner and Wells, you have the same type of Walt and Roy thing going on. You have the numbers guy and the guy who could do the finances, but then you also had the dreamer that could come up with these fantastic plans. And you really need two people that have that balance to effectively run Disneyland. Every time, historically, looking back over Disneyland, they've done well. They've had that 1-2 combo. So
we literally brought that up. I think we brought that up when we were talking with Mark from Leaving Today podcast. Yeah, right. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
the exact same point. So we're on the same page there. That's pretty cool. But one of the other things we were bringing up though was like, how many times do you think Disneyland in Pacific has been at max where they had to kick people out or stop them from coming in? Like it hasn't really been a thing. Like I probably count them on two hands,
Yeah, I know it happened before the pandemic, but I can't think of a single time after where that's been something someone has said.
Right, but
I've never had it happen to me.
I've never had. I went there so many times and I've never seen it, but I know it's happened. Probably less than a dozen times. So, do you actually need a reservation system? I understand that it helps them get the cast members they want, and I keep saying this: you could still have this system. Just don't tell us we can't come in, but we can tell you when we are going to be there.
Yeah, I think it's more the cast members. I mean, honestly, they let a lot of cast members go during the pandemic, and they haven't rehired the amount that they had before the pandemic. And I mean, you can see it on the cast members' faces and stuff, that a lot of them feel like they're having to cover too many areas. I mean, gosh, I don't know. Did you guys watch that video of Murphy catching fire? The set is burning, and it took so long for cast members to be able to show up and do things because they don't have that many, and they had to come from so many different faraway places in the park. It was a little scary. It's just, normally they have so many people working that they would have been right on that. They would have had more people there to respond, but they really have got a skeleton crew almost, it feels like at times. Just watching the videos, seeing people in the parks, you don't see as many cast members walking around as you used to.
I already know the answer to the next question is, what's your favorite land? And
definitely Fantasyland. Yeah. But I would have to say Adventureland is probably my close second, because
number
two of my other favorite rides have been there. So
the only two rides they have.
Tiki room?
Well, I guess, yeah, that's an attraction.
I love the Tiki room. That is I love the Tiki room. That is one of my favorite attractions. I wouldn't claim it as a ride per se, but I have to do the Tiki room every time I go. And I have a special corner that I sit in, and this is the secret. If you sit, so it's kind of shaped like a cross or an X, and if you sit on one of those corners of the X, you get the best seats. Everything. You can see everything. You can see all of the birds, no matter what part of the room they're in. If you sit on one of those corner seats, you can see everything. So that's my little tip for the Tiki room. And it's a good one when your feet are tired and you just need to take a little rest in a nice air conditioned space. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
You get a Dole Whip and you go in there and sit for a while. Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites. I really love Jungle Cruise. My brother loves that too. That's one of our favorites. We love the puns. And then Pirates of the Caribbean is really in my top 3 of best rides. I was terrified of it when I was a kid. And it was so funny because I quit going on it for a few years. And then when I got older, I was like, I don't remember why I don't like this ride. I'm going to go on it. And I hit that first waterfall and was like, this is why I don't like this ride. But then, I was older and I was like, actually, that was pretty cool. I want to go again. And so that is actually one of my most favorite attractions because I do love, again, you've got the full immersion. You've got the smell of the water. You've got the feel of the winds blowing on you and stuff. You can smell the fire when you're in the burning town. You can hear the music and see everything going on. So it's a very immersive ride. And that's, I think, one of the reasons it's in my top 3. So.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. It's also a go-to for me as well.
Yeah.
That and Haunted Mansion.
Yes. Haunted Mansion is one of my other top 3s. But the same type of thing, it's again a fully immersive ride. You've got multiple senses that you're experiencing it with. And it seems like every time you go through, you notice something different. In the ballroom scene or in the graveyard scene, there's so many little details that you don't even notice when you're going through there. So
I just like the architecture on the outside, the house and stuff, just like looking at it. And it's just really cool looking.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Iron.
Yeah, the wrought iron.
The wrought iron at the bottom. There's like different shapes and stuff. It gets pretty intricate.
Yeah. Well, the pet cemetery and stuff is really fun to walk through on the outside, and
everybody's waiting for them to put Brer Rabbit in the pet cemetery.
That would be good. That would be good.
Well, especially at Disney World because they have Mr. Toad already in there because that that ride is in there.
They bought them for Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Wow. You know about the elephant too, right? And behind there's like an elephant something with what's that called? Well, anyway, if you go out of the exit of Haunted Mansion and you turn around and you look back towards the exit, in the back there's like
there's another pet. It's the original pet cemetery.
Yeah, that's the original one. Yeah, and there's like an elephant upside down holding up something or. Like
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Huh. So what's your thoughts on Lightning Lane and Genie Plus and all that? Good thing, bad thing?
I think if you're willing to pay extra for it, go right ahead because it's just making the walk-on line shorter. I mean, I don't know if you've tried this yet, but if you look at the Disney Genie Plus and you compare the wait times with any other third-party wait times, the Disney ones are like sometimes 45 minutes longer than they actually are right now because they want people to spring for those lightning lanes. So
I have heard that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I literally tested it last night and I couldn't believe it because I was like, there's no way they wouldn't be that bad. They know they're going to get caught, right? They know they're not the only game in town that has that technology. But yeah, they are. And I liked the fast pass system. I thought that was great. I liked that you could book your passes, and then as one expired, you could literally book the next one after you were on, in line on waiting for the next ride. It was a really good system. I felt like that one gave you a good bang for your buck. I don't feel like D&D Plus does, and I really expect that at some point they're going to have to revisit that and revamp it, because I think most customers feel that way. That is just not a good bang for your buck. I've heard more negative than I have heard positive. I haven't used it myself personally, but just it feels deceptive to me that you would post incorrect wait times that are longer, on your app. That just seems wrong. So I'm not a huge fan of it. And it's not even that I don't like change, because I don't mind change when it's done well. But when you're taking something that was actually working and you're making it not work, that's kind of silly. Yeah. It's not good business sense. So I do expect that we will see that get either revamped or replaced with some other system in the future.
Yeah. Never mind the fact that you're taking something that was free and now you're paying for it. It's weird.
Yeah. And I mean, you have to think, I know a lot of people are just in general irritated that prices have gone up, but Disney's not the only place where prices have gone up.
Sure.
They're not the only game in town that has raised the cost. If there's anything that the pandemic taught us, it's that there are things that are just harder to get at times, and they're going to cost more, and you're going to pay a premium for them. And if you want to have good workers and you want to have a fully operational park, you do have to make money somewhere. You can't just slap a coat of paint on everything. Look at how bad the Indiana Jones attraction was before they finally refurbed it. Like, they have to make the money somewhere, and they were closed for the pandemic. So you do expect that prices are not going to stay the same. It's not going to be the 50 cents or whatever it was that it was in opening day to go on rides. And we would gladly, I think most of us, pay a little more if we are getting a good park experience, to have well-maintained rides, to have happy workers that are well paid, to have, that immersive experience where everything is well kept and just over the top. But I think the frustration is right now is that people are feeling like they're not getting that good quality of show for the prices that they're paying. And that's, I think, where Disney's going to have to do some homework and get back into the parks. I know Josh walks around the park a lot. My niece actually asked him, "Hey, yo, what's up, bro?" And he was like, my brother was super embarrassed that they bumped into Josh Damar, and that's how she acted. But I mean, he does walk around the parks, and they just need to do more of that. They need to be in the crowd and experience it from their clientele's level, because I think the more you can do that in any business, experience it from your customer's perspective, the better quality service you're going to provide to your customer, and the more you're going to understand where your cost-cutting measures are actually hurting and not helping. And I think Disney really needs to do that.
Yeah, he walked around the park a lot, Disneyland when he was president of that. And Kid Pot Rock does that now too. So, I agree. I just, again, I can't even get in the park. So take my money, but here, I can't even do that. Like they don't want it. So,
Well, and like you said, I think you're going to have a better chance of getting into Disney World right now.
That's a whole other ball game right now. But I've talked about this before too. I do want to try to get a place out there to do as an Airbnb.
Yeah.
But it's a little further really out than doing it right now. But it would be cool to get out there again.
When you do, I want to help decorate and theme and make props for it and stuff, and we'll do it cool.
Yeah. Between my signs and your stuff, and that'd be cool.
Exactly. It'll be awesome.
I'm gonna hold you to do that on record. It's in the video because I don't sew. We'll make some puppets too.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe we should get to the games.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's actually been because of the
the whole
right there, but so
let's go with the games.
Yeah. One of the games that we play, a lot of people or a lot of other podcasts may have like what your favorite ride and whatever. Well, that's the question we already asked, but we have this thing we call a magic hearing. So a magic hearing, Imagineering, kind of to rip on that. So what's your favorite Disney related like soundtrack or song or ride music or
audio in the park?
Anything that's audio Disney related.
Yeah. So I really love the Sherman Brothers. So, It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. I love hearing that. That I wish we had that in Disneyland more. That's definitely more in Florida, and just hearing that, it was just like, oh man, how could you not be excited? That was just a really good serotonin song. But I really enjoy the Dapper Dans when the Dapper Dans perform all that old-timey type music where they're harmonizing and stuff. I love that. That is such a Main Street feel. When you are walking into the park on Main Street and the Dapper Dans are performing, it is like, oh yeah, I'm here. I've arrived. This is Disney now. So it's definitely one of my top favorite soundtracks. And then the other one, and this is kind of funny, but when you go through Adventureland and you hear the Jungle Book type music playing, I love hearing that music. That one also always makes me feel like I'm instantly in Disney over by the tree
the
house
drums and stuff. Yeah,
the Bengal barbecue area, and you hear that going. That's a great adventure setting. And I mean, vacations should be kind of an adventure when you're at Disneyland. So
no, I the Ragtime Piano Player by Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah.
That's what does it for me. Like I love that music for whatever reason. I don't know. It's just
it's like they don't have the Firehouse 5 anymore. So doing the Dixieland stuff.
The Bootstrappers are still around though, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
too.
they're still there.
Yeah, they're fun.
Pirates over there. Yeah.
Well, and I love when the Dapper Dans become the ghouls and they do the float by on the raft during the Halloween. They just bring it no matter what season it is, and I love it when they change their theme to match whatever season it is. I just think that's a lot of fun too. Sorry, I was getting a phone call there.
All right. Steve, do you want to, I don't know if you ever actually answered this question. What's your favorite scary movie? What's your favorite sound or whatever?
Me?
Yeah. I don't think we've ever actually did it ourselves.
No. Well, there's a couple. Of course, when you first walk in and you hear the music, Main Street music, whatever song that they're playing on there, you feel like you're back home, I guess. I don't know. You kind of feel the start of the magic and stuff with that music and everything. The other music that I don't know, it kind of puts you in the mood too, is when you walk by Matterhorn and Alice in Wonderland in the teacups, and you hear the music from the teacups playing with the that little pipe noise or whatever. I can't do it, so. But yeah, it's just kind of makes you happy, I guess. So
I'm wondering if when the Adventureland Treehouse opens, if they're going to have the Swiss Capoca playing.
Yeah, Yeah,
That would be
there
because
is when it was
Oregon,
still Tarzan. Yeah,
they're keeping the organ, so that would be really cool if they did.
I mean, I know it's not the Swiss Family, but it is the Swiss Family Treehouse still. I just want to call it something different, but
yeah.
I don't think I ever even switched to calling it Tarzan. I think I still always called it Swiss Treehouse or some form of that because,
I mean, they're obviously redoing it because the Disney Plus series is coming, but they want to add in the SEA stuff and call it something different, I guess. But whatever, it's still a Swiss Family Treehouse.
I still do like that. I would love to see more of that getting worked into the parks. I thought that was a great idea. I would love to know more about it. And I think it would be great if they did it kind of like a treasure hunt where you have to like interact with either apps or websites because they've hidden little clues all over. And I just think that keeping on with that would be fantastic. So I've sent Jason on a pilgrimage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he showed me this the other night, and I was so excited when I saw it.
Yeah.
It's
so
gorgeous.
cool looking.
Yeah, so it's done. So I use rub and buff to make it gold.
Yeah.
But so I was working on a video, so that should be out on Friday, where I'm making this and then I'm talking about SEA. So so there you go. We'll have a video for that.
Get more of that in the parks. I think that would be great. And so if they weave that in with the new Treehouse and even in the new Disney Plus series, that would be really cool. But we don't know until they show us.
I'm sure Offhand Disney would love it if they had more.
I'm sure Dallin would be all over that.
This is for Dallin.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, as I call him, Dylan. No, okay, so we have our news segment here. I call Disney on Foot. Instead of Offhand Disney, it's Disney on Foot.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So it was a little joke. I did it for this video. I actually wrote it, and then I was like, I'm going to use that for our news segment because I mean, you're walking through Disney, right? You're Disney on foot, getting news stories. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Tie it all together.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So I said the ragtime piano. That's kind of my thing, but ultimate thing from a movie, I guess, would be Tron Legacy, Daft Punk, and that music.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm not like an electronic music person, like I don't like that usually, but there are a few key people, and Daft Punk be one of them. Robert Miles, like there's cool music they have, and me doing music too, like I can appreciate it, So definitely my favorite would be Tron Legacy. So
I would say Zippity Doodah, but that's gone now. So
and that's funny too, because I was gonna say that as well. As far as like older classic stuff, like that's a pretty big song,
Yeah.
And it's funny to me that they're willing to get rid of that just because of the movie. I mean, it's the same thing as the ride. I mean, they technically don't have anything to do with each other, really. I mean, it's a cartoon in the movie.
Yeah.
And Uncle Remus is not on that ride. So, whatever. But that's a whole other story.
It's a whole other can of worms. But I think that Zippity Doodah is one of the ones, because that's the only time you ever heard it really was in the park, because you never saw the movie. They didn't really release it to anything in the U.S. anyway. So hearing that is definitely like I'm in the parks, because it wasn't anywhere else really. You didn't really find it. I mean, there were a couple tapes in the 80s, I think, that we had as kids that had that song on there. But, you really didn't have access to the movie. You weren't really hearing it anywhere else. So it kind of became a distinctive park sound. So.
Yeah, and I know, like, they want to say that they, were trying to suppress that movie for a long time, but there's Blu-rays of that movie that they allow to get made.
They sold it overseas. You can, I mean, overseas they sold it all the time. So
Right,
it was
but
just
I mean,
here.
they had it in the States on Blu-ray, released by them or Touchstone or whatever it was. So don't, they can say all they want, how they're trying to like hide it and get rid of it, but they still made money off of it. So
well, yeah, they had Laserdisc of it. So I mean, Laserdisc. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, but I think another one that's like a holiday is definitely the Danny Elfman Nightmare Before Christmas arrangement for the Holiday. I mean, that is just that's a good one. I love Disney during the holidays is amazing. So, or at least it was. I don't know. It seems like lately they've kind of pulled back a little, but before the pandemic, that was a thing. And just hearing that Haunted Mansion with the Nightmare Before Christmas is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's still around.
Yeah.
That's funny too, because in this video, I'm talking about SEA members, and technically Danny Elfman is a member of SEA and his likeness anyway.
Yeah.
Because he composed the music for Mystic Manor, and his character is part of that now. He's part of that lore, so that's kind of cool.
That is
I used
cool.
to listen to Oingo Boingo a lot back in the day. Yeah. It's actually one of my first real concerts was like their last one, their farewell tour. So,
greetings, program.
This is all his design. He wanted a new piece on the board to change the game. Rectify. The only way to win is not to play. Enjoy the drink.
Well, next thing that we do, I gotta share my screen
before your internet goes out again.
Yeah.
Right.
And normally, I did ask you to get a drink. I'm not sure if you saw that, but it's not a big deal.
I have it. It's in the wrong cup, but it's just because I like to reuse my cups and I wash them out and use them over again when I'm at the studio. But I have the limited edition Sprite Limonade, and it's actually good. It's actually pretty good. So
I was going to try that, but I haven't yet.
Just by Powerade. Not sponsored.
There you go. You're being healthy.
Well, I mean, I was telling him this earlier. I got my sugar-free pink lemonade. It's like simply orange or whatever, but simply lemonade.
Nice. Yeah. We're not sponsored by any of these drinks, but we would be if you never want to.
And I'm not sponsored by Dickies either. No, so, I guess this is mostly for people who are going to be watching the video, but if you hear us drink along with us. Make a game out of it. Drink your favorite beverage and have a party.
Yes, every time I say the word Disney. Just kidding.
So we have this game which I call BrewSky Rectify. So it's like Blue Sky, but it's Brew Sky.
Okay,
and Rectify comes from Tron Legacy, actually, which actually means to rebuild something. So it's basically armchair Imagineering. We're going to take a ride, and you have to improve upon it.
Okay.
And the way we do this is with the wheel.
Ooh.
So first we'll pick a park, and then depending on that, we'll pick a ride from that park.
Okay.
And you're going to go first.
You're first.
So we'll see what you get. Disneyland.
Disneyland. Okay.
So now I have a wheel for Disneyland. And this has restaurants, some of them anyway, restaurants and rides. You get the Mark Twain.
Ooh. So, I mean, the Mark Twain's pretty cool, but I think one of the things that I would change about the Mark Twain is I would have a few more seats available. I feel like that is a great ride, except for you're standing the entire time. And I've definitely noticed that if people are disabled, it can be difficult for them to be on that, even though they have a way to get wheelchairs and stuff on. If you're just a little handicapped and have just some issues where you need to sit more often, there's really nowhere to sit. So I think it would be cool if they added some little benches or some seating around, just to kind of make it easier for everybody to access it. I love the story, and I really love the little scenes around it. And this is probably controversial, but I kind of miss the burning cabin, and I feel like it would be cool to bring that back. I know it's probably not PC, but that was pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, they could still have the burning cabin, just don't have it burning the way that it was burning before.
Well, I mean, and it wasn't like there were bodies or anything. Like
no, but it was caught on fire by an arrow or whatever.
Yeah, so. that was the problem. But you know, there are things that happened in history that did happen, and you know, it's important to don't completely erase it. But I mean, I obviously don't want to villainize anybody over it either. I think there's definitely a way Imagineers could have the burning cabin and do it where they're not making somebody look bad for it burning, you know. But yeah, that was always kind of cool when you came around the corner on the Mark Twain. That was there. The ride being shortened, I really thought was going to be a huge problem when they first proposed that for Galaxy's Edge. I was like, what are they doing? Like, obviously this is terrible. But I feel like they've done it really well. I do wish they hadn't put the storyteller up quite so high, because I feel like it's harder to see him, and that, like, unless you're on one of the higher decks of the Mark Twain, you don't really notice him as well.
Yeah, well, they did it for the train as well. So
but I feel like he was such a big focal point. It would have been really awesome to see him more displayed. The other thing I would say for the Mark Twain is I think it would be really neat if they had, instead of just canned music, that they actually brought music on more often. Sometimes they do. Sometimes, you know, the cancel ride. But
very few far between, for sure.
Exactly. And it would be cool if they had, you know, I mean, you've got Princess and the Frog, right? And you have this riverboat. So get a band on there and have somebody in a gator costume. I mean, it's not like outside the realm of possibilities to have some nice live music going. And then, you know, with a couple benches, now you've got another attraction that people actually want to go and sit. I mean, we've lost a lot of show elements, and the Mark Twain has the ability to be another show element. So, I mean, we don't have Mickey and the Magical Map anymore. They're, you know, the Aladdin Theater and everything. We don't have that. It would just be really cool if we had a few more performance opportunities. And the Mark Twain could be a great performance opportunity for some live music. So,
especially when it goes around at night. Nighttime ride is really cool on the Mark Twain.
Yeah, and I mean, in general, throughout the whole park, we've lost a lot of seating area.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have the fold-up chairs or whatever they put out on the front, but those are kind of cheesy, in my opinion. Definitely more benches. There's a lot of seating room in there that is just wasted space. Really, they're not using. So, I agree.
So,
who's next?
Okay,
I'm next.
You're next. And you get California Adventure. Have you ever gotten Disneyland yet?
I don't think so.
Wait, you're gonna get a restaurant. Hang on. Yep, here you are. Corn Dog Castle.
I have no idea because I've never eaten there.
Do you want another spin?
Sure. I have no idea.
Okay. If we've never been there,
for that.
I'll give you another spin.
Plus, I think Mark got that last time.
Yeah. It's hard to perfect a corn dog, So.
Yeah. Jumping
jellyfish.
It's perfect for kids. It's the right height. I've never been on it.
So make it bigger so you can get on it.
Yeah, taller.
There you go.
Drop faster. I don't know.
How faster? Just make it the parachute ride at Knott's. It's pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah. Well, they had that. What was it? At California Adventure. There's the adult version of the jumping jellyfish. What was that called again? Where it shoots you up and brings you back down.
Oh yeah, they had one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot.
I actually never got to go to California Adventure until after 2015.
Gone. Yeah, so that was already gone.
Yeah, so after the upgrade,
was that Maliboomer or something like that?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because that's when I was like in Boston on all that, so I never got back to the West Coast. Okay, I guess it's my turn.
Your turn. Where did Allie go?
I'm sorry, my phone's dying, so I'm trying to plug it in really fast.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna wait.
Oh, we'll wait till she gets back.
There we go. Yay! It saved. We're good.
Yay!
All right, so I'm going to spin. Oh,
see, you get dizzy.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
I have a programmed scheme.
Yeah. See how you are?
Oh, yeah. Come on.
It's a small one.
I had a program. I wouldn't pick that one. Get rid of all
the Zocalo would have been better.
How would I make it better?
See, I had an idea for this one.
Well, you wait until after I'm done.
Yeah.
The one thing that Pirates has over this is the drops, which makes Small World a little more exciting to have some drops in there. That's what I would do. Yeah. That's about it.
Okay.
So what's your idea, Steve?
Well, it wasn't directly with Small World, but it was a pass through Small World with the new People Mover. So I was thinking they should make like something from Tomorrowland that takes you in like a time warp thing or whatever, like what they had in the People Mover with Tron, like the light cycles. But then it goes through Small World, and that would be the tunnel, and then it would wind up in Galaxy's Edge and drop you off there. Something like that.
I had a super idea, for that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, but that was just using the Small World building as
right.
As a pass.
Yeah.
Trying to think of how you would get to Galaxy's Edge from there, unless you'd like going underground or something, but because you'd have to go probably under the railroad because the railroad turns right there.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the People Mover, so you go above it.
Oh well, okay.
You go through the build. When you go through the building, it'll be in a tunnel.
I mean, still, like the People Mover would have to go either right by where the theater is, where they had Magical Map and all that.
Yeah,
that's where the train station is. So you either go there or you got to go into Toontown and go.
Yeah, it'll be behind Toontown and come out, and but that's a whole different thing.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
it would be cool.
You want to do another one?
Yeah, we get 2 rounds.
Yeah, 2, right? Yeah.
All right.
That last little thing is just like
dink.
That was California Adventure for those listening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, whatever you want to call it.
And it's my turn, right?
Yes, it is your turn.
Okay, so I really like the Redwood Creek Trail, but I didn't know it was there for like the longest time. And
it is a little hidden, yeah.
It's a little hidden, and it's actually really big. And I think that one of the things that they did well originally with it was they had a meet and greet there with the characters from Up. And I don't think they've ever brought that back since the pandemic. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I haven't been there since the pandemic. So I really thought having the little forest explorers there was good. And you could also do like Kronk and the little squirrel as a puppet and do stuff there interactive with the kids with forestry stuff. I think would be really cute. When they set that up for the Disney Villains event during Halloween, it's pretty amazing. So I think it's a really underutilized space that if they just brought more attention to it, could be a really, really nice attraction, especially if you have younger kids that just need them to get some energy out.
Right.
It's great. There's a lot more to it than you realize. When you first start walking back there, you think it's just a bunch of trails. There's actually like multi-levels and stuff to climb and rope bridges and
California Adventures of Tom Sawyer's Island.
It really is. Yeah. And I mean, it's probably not as good, or the Pirate's Lair or whatever they want to call it now.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good underutilized space that I feel like if they just added a couple more things like those meet and greets, they would draw more attention to it and more people would know it's there.
Yep.
Yep, that makes sense. How's the Kronk thing go? A squeaking? The little chipmunk language he had?
Yeah.
Something like
you
that.
You took my car.
All right, Steve.
Come on, Disneyland.
Oh, no. Not going to do
it. Again. Oh.
Man.
Incredicoaster.
Oh.
Making Incredicoaster better? I only written that once.
Cookie num nums at the end?
Yeah. I don't know. I do like the loop. I like the roller coaster itself. It's
a fun coaster. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what else. Maybe it's already what, 2 minutes long, I think, or 2.5 minutes long. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Would you like the theme now? Would you change it to something else maybe?
Well, that whole theming thing is that's another story.
I don't mind the theming. I don't like the end part where it's
I don't like the thing I don't like is the cheapy tunnels. How they just stuck a plastic figure in the tunnels.
Yeah.
Rather than something moving or the tunnel be a little bit longer, or I know at night it's pretty cool, but
it is cool at night.
Yeah, but during the day is.
I would have had more like night light show kind of aspect in there rather than just the character.
Exactly.
Map even.
With the stagnant characters, I think is where you hit it. So, like when you're going by the show scenes and then the characters aren't moving.
Yeah,
I mean, you are moving and you're going fast, but when there's just a sound over the top of them talking, but their eyes, it's kind of, it just kind of breaks the immersion a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, my turn.
All right, Jason. You're next.
Oh, look at that.
This game is rigged.
I swear.
It's a small world. It's a small world.
Oh,
Galactic. There you go. The Plaza Inn.
Man, what to change there?
Fried chicken.
I mean, it's decent chicken.
It is.
And they have decent side dishes.
That's one of the places where you actually get a lot of food for the money.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you're being smart about it, you can split that. You know, you can get that big chicken platter and you can split it and really save yourself some money.
Yeah.
It's good food and it's a good portion.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know what I would do there.
More dessert.
More seating for sure.
Wow.
More seating.
More seating because
yeah.
But when it's you know, a decent crowd in there, you can't find a seat. That's kind of the easy way out though. I would say adding better dessert options. I know they have a couple. I can't remember what they are, but
the cheesecake. I think was one of them.
They have a cheesecake and like cookies or something like that. But
I think there's a brownie, maybe I think there's a cheesecake. I think there's a brownie, and then I think it's cookies. Yeah, I think that's all they got though. It's not.
But
it's
not like the salads because you can get all sorts of different salads.
Yeah, but have some kind of custom dessert or whatever that's only there.
Didn't they have? Do they have soft serve ice cream there? I don't remember.
It's been a while since I've been there. I'm not sure. Yeah. And plus, I don't think I've ever eaten the dessert there, and that probably goes without saying that they need a better version. So anyway, that's what I would say. Better dessert. Right. Because like I said, the food's good. I mean, it's actually the rare time where, like you say, you actually get food for your money. So
right. That's like one of the few places you get a lot of food for the money.
Yeah. Well, okay, that concludes that.
When you're looking for the downtown Disney beat, all the way through down on Main Street, well, look no further for more input, because we're going down to Disney on foot.
So, this is the portion where we start to get to the news. And you are welcome to stay for that if you want, but it's up to you. So we will talk about news and we can do conversations on that if you want.
Sure.
All right, ready?
Let's get to the news.
Sure.
Okay, so the Disney Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser is closing. Is anybody actually shocked by that news? Because I mean, there's been several.
I think I was hoping it to do well, but I think because of the price,
right?
It's like, nobody can go there.
There's been several conversations I've seen other people talk about. Well, the price isn't an issue, and whatever. And then someone else says they price themselves out and whatnot. And
well, I couldn't go there because of the price.
Right.
So
yeah.
And you can't just cater to the up and up. Like this isn't Club 33. This is a Star Wars thing. It should be able to be for everybody. Personally, for me, and this is a lot like the Lightning Lane issue. This is something that we should have had for free in Galaxy's Edge. And then they took it away from us and then said, here, now you can pay for it. Like I think that's a big reason that it failed.
It's a lot of role playing in there, right?
Yeah.
Is that what
and that's the other. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the other reason that it didn't go. A lot of people got frustrated in Galaxy's Edge if they were like trying to ask a question and the person was responding in character. They were like, we're not doing this. I just want to know where the restroom is or whatever. They didn't want that immersive level. It was a little much for some people, I think.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, finish. Go ahead.
I mean, there's definitely people who love that kind of thing. Like, I personally love that kind of thing. My husband was like, no, please not. But like, I mean, even in Galaxy's Edge, I think somebody else was pointing out, we couldn't get people to say bright suns and react and interact in Galaxy's Edge that way. So what are you going to do when you've got this big expensive hotel that's basically for Star Wars LARPers and you've priced it so high? Like, it's kind of the only logical thing that was going to happen. And I think if they would have done it as a pop-up experience or like a cruise ship experience that you could book, they might have actually done better at it instead of doing it like a continuous thing. I think that's kind of where they went wrong, was trying to make it something that continuously goes. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other big issue is you're stuck there until your time slot that you're allowed to go to the park. It's a hotel. You should be able to leave when you want to. And yeah, half the people just want a photo op with characters from a movie they actually knew. And you didn't even get that. You barely got stormtroopers and maybe Chewbacca. And then at the one special time, you had like a scene between Rey and Kylo, but it's a Star Wars thing. You should have had like Luke and Darth Vader and all that in there, you know, like.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people that are not as they're just not as into the newer movies as they are the older movies. I've heard a lot of people say, just make it all of the timelines, just mix it all together, make it all the timelines. Yeah. Or even have different hotel things where you go and one time it's in this timeline and then the next time it's in a different timeline, because that was the other thing. I mean, first of all, you're kind of catering to a small group of people, people that like LARPing and want to be in a live action role play setting where they can dress up and interact and they have the money to go do so. So you're getting a smaller pool, and then it's the same adventure every time. People want to come back and want a different adventure. Like, we'll set it in a different time this time. Let's, put it in, Galactic Republic time, put it in Empire Strikes Back time, put it in, prequels, make Anakin be there before his fall or when he's starting to have his fall, and let them watch that, let them live that. That would be so much more exciting to a lot of people than, it's some adventure set in the Star Wars universe at some point with people that are probably from around there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's like so many different things that are wrong. But apparently, there has been a few suggestions from Imagineers on how to fix it, and those were just shot down by Bob Iger because he just wanted to take the tax write-off, which is like $300 million.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I'm not a tax expert, but I think there's a thing where if you're taking that money, then you can't do anything else with that property or whatever. So I think that if that's true, then it pretty much means they have to destroy it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but and if that's the case, you're going to be paying money to destroy that. We were talking about that last time with the Harmonious barges.
Yeah.
Those
could have been sold off. They could have been used elsewhere, but no, they just decided to destroy them.
And they have places that they sell off their props to and stuff out of the park. So it's not even like, oh, this is something new we would never have done before, because they do that all the time. They have people they work with and send things to for that purpose. So
right. I mean, there's tons of companies that have like a lakefront property, or even they have other lakefront properties by hotels or whatever. You could have put something there, made a show just for that hotel, or anything than just costing more money to destroy something. Just as, I don't know, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I don't
instead
understand.
of building this whole hotel, they could have used that money and built the new people mover at Disneyland. Done.
There you go. You could have fixed the people mover.
And you wouldn't have to destroy it because everybody would be riding it.
Hotel, people mover. I feel like we know where the answer is.
And then you get the people mover going into Galaxy's Edge, and there's your Star Wars connection.
I would really like to see them do the fantasy Skyway bucket redone and do that over into Star Wars Edge or Galaxy's Edge Star Wars Land, because you could do like a really neat rocket ship looking vehicle, and then you wouldn't have to worry about anybody trying to jump out, and just having them float through Fantasyland along that old track and then going into Galaxy's Edge right by the Millennium Falcon where they have that gate. I mean, that would be awesome. That would be so cool.
You could have them look like the Millennium Falcon and X-Wings, and TIE fighters are following them.
Like, you know what? Take a page out of the Paris Tomorrowland. Give them that Nautilus retro steampunk airship look, and then they fit in both lands. They fit in Tomorrow World, and they fit or Tomorrowland. They fit in kind of Fantasyland because you kind of have that boat look to them, like their Peter Pan sailing ship, maybe. And then, yeah, I have a sketch somewhere. I'll have to send it to you of what I thought the ride vehicle would look like if we did that. Actually, it might be on my Instagram, but
as long as they weren't that puke green color.
Yeah, no, not that.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, if it was just like a, I don't know, Skyway buckets. What's the other one? Skyliner. Kind of the same thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's like a purpose for it, like, I mean, Disneyland one was like one side of the park to the other side of the park.
Yep.
I keep talking about this in other videos as well. Like, we need Skyliners in Disneyland to go off property, between properties, go across the streets of parking lots, whatever. And if you could have that go into a land, just kind of like the monorail does, I mean, that would be kind of cool.
Well, hopefully they will be bringing elements of the Star Wars hotel into Galaxy's Edge. It seems a shame to waste all of that. They had such good talent, you know, with the singer and stuff in the lounge, and just the fight that they did have between Rey and Kylo. It'd be cool to see that actually happen in the park, because we don't have that right now. And the droids, like, we were supposed to have droids wandering around Galaxy Edge, and we don't. So it'd be cool to see them bring those elements so they wouldn't hopefully be entirely wasted and just sold off as scrap or whatever, but or destroyed.
Galaxy's Edge actually has a whole catwalk system for them to roam around, and they barely even use that. You might see like Chewbacca up there once in a while, and that's about it.
Some stormtroopers.
Yeah, when we saw the concept art, I thought for sure we were going to have like a 2-story thing where, you know, you get to walk up there and actually look down. And that would have been actually really cool if they did
that would have been the way to do it.
Yeah.
Steve just wants a second story in every land.
Yeah.
Everything should be 2 stories.
Tomorrowland, two-story Tomorrowland.
We used to have it. All right, let's move on to our next news. If it changes, there we go.
Here's your Mr. Tomorrow.
Do you want to read this one, Steve?
How he addresses plans to focus their opportunity and expansion on their core assets, claiming additional and regional parks were not of interest to the company at this time, referring to Universal's new parks that currently under construction, like Epic Universe, and a recent announced park in Texas that will focus on family entertainment.
Yeah, so basically Disney's saying, we don't care that Universal is building all these new parks. We're just going to focus on ours. And I mean, that's fine for Disney World, but Disneyland, I mean, you need a new park. Obviously they're already thinking about it with the Disney Forward.
Disney Forward,
yeah. And they are hitting Disney Forward pretty hard. It seems like they're always out there doing surveys and meet and greets and showing off plans for it.
Yeah, they definitely need to focus on a new park, or at least adding on 2 parks in there. Obviously, they're not going to lose business to Universal. People are still going to come to Disney World no matter what. They might extend their vacation or split it in half, but you're still going to have people going there. There's nothing to worry about. I don't know why people want to make
my relatives from Holland, when they came, they went straight to Disney World and Universal. So they did both.
I think people just make up stories to write a story. Doesn't make any sense. But somebody had to go ask him, so he had to put it on record. We don't care.
Honestly, though, Universal is starting to do things pretty well, and Disney would be smart if they would take note, because their last few expansions and their last few parks have been amazing and super immersive, and definitely either on par or in some cases a little better, dare I say, than what Disney's offered lately. So they have Imagineers that they've had away, and they're listening to their Imagineers. Their creative teams are doing pretty good job.
With Universal, like when with Mario Land or whatever, it is just really small. They can't fit all those people in there.
I mean, it's just as bad as, in terms of size, it's the same as like Pandora and stuff like that. I mean, it's not huge. And you also have to think that the Universal Park in California is so much smaller than the one in Florida.
There's no room.
They have so much more room there. And I mean, we were very impressed when we went with the cleanliness and the upkeep of the attractions. The Hollywood Park, I've never seen them take to that level in Universal that they do in their Florida park. But I mean, their Minions World and stuff like that, all of these things that they're redoing and retheming and all the new stuff they're coming out with, they are doing more. But the thing is that this is where the core between the two, the difference is that Disney really wants to be kid friendly. And Universal, their thing has always been the monsters. That was their horror movies were their bread and butter. That was how they differentiated themselves from like MGM, who was musicals, and Disney, who was cartoons and kid-friendly stuff. They focused on the horror aspect. And their horror nights for teenagers and young adults is, where they put their money. So you're always going to have that. Disney's going to be special because it's Disney. And Universal is going to stand out because they're willing to push the envelope in a lot of areas where Disney just isn't. So I don't think it's smart for Disney to ignore them entirely, though, because a lot of the ride systems are pretty cool. And I mean, we've seen how many times has the ride go down for Rise. You know what I mean? Like, Rise is one of their newest rides, and it seems like it's very unpredictable about whether or not it's running. So it might be worth them taking a note out of that notebook of Universal's and looking at some of their ride offerings.
I mean, I might be wrong on this, but so going back a little bit though, what's her name? J.K. Rowling's came to Disney first to do like a Harry Potter land or whatever. And what they came up with was totally rejected by her. And then she went to Universal and, obviously they did things right. But I think the guy who was doing that was Scott Trowbridge, who came back and did Galaxy's Edge, if I'm not mistaken. So
I don't know.
But I don't know if it was him, but it was some of the same people. And they still didn't do it right, so... Yeah. Using the same people, I don't know. Disney, I think they're not putting the right people in the right places and the right budget in the right places, and they take the shortcuts or whatever, and that's why things fail all the time, or they're just not built right or whatever. I don't know, hard to say, I guess, but yeah, I mean, for sure they need to, keep their eye on stuff, but I'm just saying, like, as a business wise, like they're not going to lose people, they're not going to lose business to Universal. They need to, keep things going, add stuff to their current parks, but I still think they should add a new park anyway, but I just don't, in the immediate future, the next over like 10 years, I don't think it's going to affect too much. So, and I think that's what they're thinking anyway. Speaking of money, I still have no idea how this works because Disney says they're going to invest like, what was it, 17 billion over the next 10 years. But then you go and lay off hundreds of people here and thousands of people here, and makes no sense in how that works. But this is like the third planned wave of layoffs coming, and it's 2,500 people. So I don't get it. Just lay off people here and there, but you're going to spend money, and that money is supposed to get. I think there's like 10,000 jobs.
Yeah, and they were saying we're going to hire all these other people to work in Florida, and then, why are you cutting jobs if you're hiring people?
I don't understand how that works. I'm not a genius, but those the numbers don't add up. So I don't know. That's stupid. Pressing news. Move on. So what's this? So one of my favorite actors, actually, ever since Punisher, Ray Stevenson passing away, and I mean he's been in a lot of stuff lately, Thor movies, and he was in Dexter. He was in the Star Wars animated shows, and actually he had a part coming up in Ahsoka, the TV series coming to Disney Plus. So, and from what I hear, they're trying to work in how that's going to work for the next season. Like, I guess there's been talks on trying to deep fake him or just write him out, I guess, or recast him. I don't know, but it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
So he was 58, and I guess at first it wasn't known how he died, and it still hasn't been confirmed, but I found it somewhere. They were saying he died of a heart attack because of an anaphylactic shock, allergic to something, maybe venison. There's some other site was saying he had COVID and he took the shot and that killed him, but I mean, I don't know. But yeah, he's one of my favorite actors, so kind of sad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they move on with the Ahsoka series, which way they decide to go on that. Because, I mean, we've seen it work in Fast and the Furious where they get somebody that looks similar. They use Paul Walker's brother and CGI and obviously Disney has that technology because with the Thor movies they de-aged Kurt, so it's possible.
And, Mando, they had de-aged Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then people complained about that. It wasn't looking good. And then I think they went and hired the actual people who were doing the deep fake to make it better. So now I would say they do have the talent to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go back and fix Tron Legacy because that Jeff Bridges in the beginning was pretty awful. But such is life. Steve.
Yeah.
You want to take
it? Sure. The Disneyland's president, Ken Potrock. I don't know how you say his last name. This was a while, maybe it was last month or something like that, when Disney was working with James Cameron on the new Avatar experience. And he was quoted as saying, we're going to share lots of more details as they become available. By the way, as I become more aware of what the heck we're going to do. But stay tuned, which that sentence didn't make any sense. But stay tuned. It's going to be really exciting. We're thinking bold.
So much confidence because of that statement. Like I am super.
Yeah.
I'm so reassured right now.
That's from the OC register.
I mean, I think
there's no other details about it.
Well,
That
and
was
that's,
it.
I think that's key.
It's like, yes.
David Freshbake, I think, I'm sure he's not the only one, but he was the first one I saw that was like, you know what? They don't know what they're doing yet. There is no plans. It was just announced because it was on the the earnings call.
He opened his mouth.
Right.
And so now they got to back it all up.
Right. And then they're like, well, let's put it out there that we're doing something. And then I think it's Patrick is how you say his name.
How do you say it?
Patrick.
Patrick.
A lot of people say pot rock, but I think it's Patrick. He tried to say like we're going to come up with cool stuff and we're going to do this, and we don't really know what we're doing, but we're thinking about it.
Something much. It's like, okay.
I think that did more damage.
Let us know when you're done.
Right.
Right.
But but we're working with the guy, so he'll have all the answers. Just like it's the same thing. It's like, why did you even say anything? Just
right.
Yeah.
You just kind of messed it up more.
Definitely had more information about other projects they've recently wrapped than they had about that.
Right.
It was a little
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. They try. I think they need to get a new what do they call it? Like media person, whatever. I forgot what the title would be, but anyway.
The Picture Place Hotel opened a new lobby.
Yeah.
This is all on Heyman. Heyman did a great update on this.
I gave him credit. I took a screenshot and I gave him credit for it too.
Yeah, I see it in the corner there. Yeah.
Because I mean, we've been following him before we became friends with him, but
yeah,
you know, Dave.
And I became friends with him because of you.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying Dave does all these construction updates and stuff, but
from Freshbake,
Jay is always like, he walks into the place and like starts talking to people and like pointing out stuff, and
it was cool
and credit for that. So
in his video, how one of the cast members was actually explaining to him about the pool and all that stuff,
right? and I think a lot of people like saw that because no one else went and talked to anybody, and they were saying the same stuff.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get as much credit as he should.
Yeah. Yeah, so, definitely.
But it looks pretty cool. But it also looks pretty contemporary, just like everything in downtown Disney is going to be.
Yeah, like the jazz kitchen.
Yeah, the unjazz kitchen.
Yeah, unjazz kitchen.
I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, I know it's their downtown, but like, you don't tell Rainforest Cafe to, take out all their animals and not do that. Like, it's their restaurant. If you don't want them there, then say that. But don't tell them how to like make their restaurant look. I don't understand that. But I guess they're going for this cohesion thing. So
I just feel like it's so depressing. I don't know. It's like, you remember McDonald's in the 70s was like brown and orange, and even like the early part of the 80s. And then all of a sudden, the late 80s, we got like the pastels, and there was like teal. And then like the 90s happened, and we had like cheerful colors. And now McDonald's just looks like a really, really sad, dreary place where you don't want to even stay. And I feel like it's a disease that is now spreading. Like the hotels, just from the outside, it just looks really bleak. I mean, okay, you've got this great awning, but the rest of it is just black and gray.
Black and gray.
Yeah, I was going to say their uniforms are even black and gray. Like, yeah. And
sad.
That's what, especially Mickey Views. What's his name? Braden?
Oh yeah. Braden.
I think it's Braden. He keeps talking about how Disney's de-theming their hotels.
Yes.
And I mean, this again puts it right there. I mean, it looks cool, but it's not Disney.
That's the thing. It looks like it could be any like Motor Inn or Marriott Express, or it doesn't look like, oh, I'm staying in Disney Hotel. I mean, that was the whole point of staying at a Disney hotel, was it was Disney. It didn't look like the Shiloh Inn or whatever. And now,
so why are you paying more money to stay at a place that looks just like everybody else? I mean, except for the fact that I guess you have your own entrance to the park on this one, but you're kind of on property, but not really. It's the closest thing you get, I guess. But is that really worth the price? I don't know.
Well, and if tickets are that much more expensive and you have to deal with blackout dates, are you gonna spend more money to stay at the bleak, depressing Disney hotel when you could stay somewhere cheaper?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally have never stayed at a Disney hotel just because of the price.
I've actually stayed here.
Have you?
Well, when it was Paradise Pier Hotel, I stayed there.
9 times out of 10 will go by Knott's Berry Farm because it's so much cheaper.
Yeah. That one hotel that we stayed at when you were there.
Yeah, when I was doing the video.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you weren't. Yeah.
No, I wasn't there.
No. Chris was.
Yeah. So go ahead, take the next one because I have no idea what this is about.
So yeah, Foo Fighters, total Disney right here. But it is actually. So they, obviously everybody knows that their last drummer, Taylor Hawkins, and here's my dog again, passed away last year. So they had to get a new drummer, and they got Josh Freese, who has played with. Really? Can't keep that. He's played with the newer Guns N' Roses Chinese Democracy album. He was a drummer on that. Perfect Circle, Nine Inch Nails. But he's mostly noted for being a studio and touring drummer. He's played on over 400 albums. So he's a really good drummer. But why are we talking about this on Disney? But it's because his dad was the first full-time musical director at Walt Disney World.
Oh,
and then went on to being the music director at Disneyland for 20 years. So there's a tie-in.
Yeah.
His mom also was a classical trained pianist. So this is a whole musical family. So yeah, I just thought that was worth mentioning. I haven't seen anyone else talk about how, there's a whole Disney connection there. So
that's cool.
That's cool.
And
plus, I like those DW drums.
Yeah. DWD drums.
Yeah. Those are nice.
Backwards.
Yeah.
You can take this one, Steve.
Oh, I can?
Yeah. This was your story anyway.
Yeah. So, they don't really know when the Fantasmic is coming, but they think it is, was it by Labor Day that they'll probably have something again.
In a B mode, probably.
Yeah. So that's for, what was his name again?
Murphy.
Murphy, there we go.
Yeah. Murphy's Law.
Dragon.
What I can't go wrong, go wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I saw Fresh Bake say it.
Yeah, I didn't. When saw the video from David. And,
I think it actually started when the parade float, the Maleficent parade float, caught fire down in Walt Disney World.
Oh, Walt Disney World, yeah.
Yeah, that. And then this one, catching fire, just kind of continued.
Yeah, I mean, how funny is that the two things that catch on fire are the same character.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
I think that whole situation was so wild. Watching the video and the poor cast members being like, people, you need to run away from the fire, not towards them.
Yeah, exactly.
And got their phone. It was just kind of crazy. But
that one guy who was going live, I forgot his name now, but he kept trying to get back there, and the cast member kept coming back to him. He's like, and yeah, he found a way to get it past it. And then like, I think we were talking about this last time too. And I was like, at the same time, I'm like kind of pissed at him because he wasn't listening to cast members. But then I was like kind of glad because we had the video of what I've seen it burn, you know, because it's newsworthy. You know, somebody needed to videotape it. But then I was like, what a jerk for not listening to cast members. I'm like, good on you for not listening to cast members. So
it was like what was it? A theme park detective, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Him. Yeah. Because I was actually watching my friend's Goofy Guy Adventures, watching his live stream, and then his wife was over by Phantasmic, and that's when the whole thing happened. And seeing it live was really weird.
That animatronic they said was $10 million. So yes, Disney is putting money for being a lot of attractions have desperately needed it right now, but I don't know when they're going to have like a budget for that type of animatronic again. They may just do, like you said, meme mode. Or they might do something completely different. They might do a new show. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see what they decide.
World of Color already has like a scene with the dragon, sprayed on the water. So they might just do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how you do fire like that, but I guess it doesn't.
And
totally not going to have the same effect. But
I could be wrong, but I think the investigation isn't even concluded yet, and they're not going to be able to put any type of fire-breathing animatronic back until at least that's done, and they figure out everything all about it.
Yeah, so, the one in Disney World is back breathing fire, though.
Yes, that one is.
But I'm surprised at that. But I'm sure they looked and do everything. So,
I think so. Yeah, you hope so, at least.
Well, they did close it down for I think a week or something. All the fire, what do you call it?
All the pyrotechnics. Yeah. Well, they figured things out, which is smart. That's the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
That's one of those times where they probably could have like tried to push for show over safety, and they were more on the side of safety, which is good. So it's actually nice to see that, considering their employees are so close. Like those employees that were like trying to fight the fire and stuff, you're just like,
it was crazy.
You don't get paid enough for that.
I keep every time I think about this, I see that fire come down at that guy. And
that guy was standing right there.
Yes. The little tiny fire extinguisher and the little hose. And, oh my gosh!
I just like that fire, like totally was on him, but I'm guessing it wasn't in the same perspective. But it looked like it hit him, and he just he's one lucky person. So we laugh about it because he lived, but
and he didn't get like burned. I think they just
probably got a good sunburn though.
Inhalation. Yeah. I think they got some smoke inhalation. So that was really good.
Yeah, and then the Matterhorn's supposed to be reopening on June 2nd for refurbishment. So,
well, that's when I'm heading down there, but I'm not going in the park.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Which is, that's this Friday.
This Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going down. A friend of mine has a band, and he has a punk band, and they haven't played in like 15 years or something, but they got back together. So I'm going down to see them. But I have the Two Fat Jays video. So I'm actually going to meet up with K-Man, and we're going to film a video in downtown Disney.
Cool.
Not sure where we're going to do it yet, but we're going to make a video there.
Well, there's lots of stuff going on down there.
What's that?
There's lots of stuff going on down there to choose from. So,
we'll stuff our faces and film it for you. So,
and drink a bunch of shakes. Try all the different shakes at that. What's it? Black Tap.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've had one. Those things are
cake one. The birthday cake one.
Those things are so thick, like you just like suck yourself down the straw.
Bring a spoon.
And with soaring over the world, they actually added a single rider line now.
So is it called Soaring Over the World? Because that sign says around the world.
Yeah, whatever. I don't like it. It should be soaring over California. So. Around the world, it's all fake. So I have too much CGI in that.
Yeah. All right.
And that is it.
That was the news.
That's the news.
And that's pretty much.
As it's getting darker and darker in my room for the sun is going.
Well, we've had a couple timeouts because my internet sucks, and then.
Mine's not good either.
We just need Steve to have shitty internet too, and then we're good.
No, I already went through that. I don't want to do that anymore.
Don't put that on him.
No, I don't want that.
You remember when we first started this?
I can play all my video games now and stream at the same time and don't have any issues. So
when we first started all this, I had the audio issue too. My microphone kept getting crackles and sounds and all that, and we had that same issue when I was trying to interview Brett Iwan, Mickey Mouse voice. The reason you don't see that interview is because he was having audio issues. So that's still coming up at some point. So anyway, so that's pretty much our show for this time.
Yay!
Thank you, Allie, for coming on with us.
Do you have anything you want to talk about? Like what are you doing next, or
promote?
I just finished a bunch of costumes for Fantasy Fair, and my mind is like so blown right now. So I don't have anything specific, but I am excited. I am excited to do some more parks and do some more traveling. And I really do want to get back down to Disneyland soon. So I'm hoping for maybe a November trip to Disneyland. So we'll see. But
nice. Cool.
Yeah.
It's a good time to go.
It is, because they still have like some of the Halloween stuff, some of the Christmas stuff at the same time. So
yep.
Convergence.
And it's a little cooler weather.
Yeah.
It's not like
a good time to go.
100 degrees. Even though Jason's used to that.
It hasn't been as hot as it should be right now. So, which is like a lot better, because like 2 years ago at this point in time, we had like 50 days in a row of over 100 degrees. Yeah.
That's a lot.
So it's a vast difference from that year.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to mention again the maps that we collaborate on.
Yes, definitely.
I think they're really cool. I'm excited to see the Jungle Cruise one.
You can't show
What's
it?
That? Oh, I can share it, actually.
I would like to see it, because I only saw a picture of it. I can't. So,
you want me to show you like a real one?
Yeah. I was trying to see if I have a copy.
So, do you notice we have the same mask or helmet?
Yeah,
we have the same helmet.
I saw that.
I can't even point to his on this side. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so
I feel sorry to the ones that are listening. They can't see the
they
map.
need to go subscribe to the video version.
Yes, so this is the Neverland map, and it was
cool.
really fun to do. We did a lot of kind of almost childish type scratches for some of the stuff, and there's our beautiful logos on the back. But one of the things that we included was Wendy's house, which is not in the Disney version of Peter Pan, but is in the real book. So this map is just really fun, because if you like the book, you will find things on it that are in the book and not in the Disney movie. But it definitely has all the Disney elements too, so it's a lot of fun, because it's kind of a very
that's cool.
I mean, I think the key here is, I mean, a lot of people know this, but some people don't actually know that these are not Disney stories. These are old stories that have been written. They're, you know, some of them over hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's tons of things that you can do. Nursery rhymes or Brothers Grimm, whatever stories. Like there's tons of things that we can do.
Yeah.
Although we are making a Jungle Cruise version.
We absolutely are. And Haunted Mansion, but wait, was I supposed to say that yet? Anyway, so this is the this one is the
which one is this one? Oh, this is
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And my daughter did most of the artwork on this. She's super talented. The other part of Muse Design.
That looks great.
And she wanted to just do it in a very kid style. So you can see that in the lettering and stuff that she did. But there's a lot of fun places in here that, again, are from the book.
I like
just the movie.
the lettering.
Yeah, like some of the E's are backwards.
The E's backwards.
Like Rabbit's House, if you notice the house on Rabbit's House, it's actually like spelled incorrectly. And that was purposeful.
Yeah.
If you look a lot of the original artwork in the A.A. Milne books, they are written by a child. So
like
you have those funny little spellings and things like that. It's just a really fun, whimsical map, but they really do look so good when that wood burning happens. It just brings out so much more depth to them. So they're definitely high quality. So buy one, or 3.
So where is it? Where can we buy one at? Where can
they
we buy
are
it
on my Etsy shop. So
you're okay.
If you
interactive realm.
The easiest thing, and I kind of just set it up for this, is to go to irealm.ws, and that will take you to my LinkedIn page, or not LinkedIn, sorry, Linktree.
Yeah.
And that links off to everything. So you can find it Etsy, you can find, you know, Instagram.
What was this? What was this site again?
irealm, like interactive realm. So irealm.ws, which I think stands for website. But yeah, it's just a forwarding thing that I made. So yeah, cool. And I will have them on the designs.amusement.com shop once that goes. Well, I'm still working on that. Hopefully soon.
Right.
I don't want to put everything on Etsy for obvious reasons, like she was saying.
Well, we can always drop a link in the comments too, so that you can just go right down to the comments.
Yeah, in the description, I'm going to put links to everything.
See, there you go, in the description.
Yeah,
perfect.
And I will link to your Instagram and to your shop as well.
Yeah, I have a link tree I can put up there.
Oh yeah, I always link to that.
Yeah. All the things. So, yeah.
There's a ghost in the back there.
Yeah. that is the artist. That is the artist. Matt. Yeah.
Tell her to come and say hello.
She's very camera shy.
Oh, okay. Well, she's been on camera because I'm going to the microphone again because she's in the mirror. You have to let her know that we're really happy with the design she made. So
they're really happy with the design you made. I got a thumbs up. Yeah. I don't know if you saw it up there in the mirror.
Yeah.
No.
And so are you doing the Jungle Cruise or is she doing it?
I am doing the Jungle Cruise. So I did the Neverland map and I'm doing the Jungle Cruise. And then I'm going to be doing the Haunted Mansion, but I'm going to try and talk her into doing some of the little ghosty characters because she's really talented with characters. She's really good at doing all of the little like cartoony expressions and stuff. She's just really good at that. So
I can't draw at all.
I can draw.
I can draw on the computer with using lines and stuff, but I can't draw by hand.
You got to start somewhere. So
I'm totally happy being a graphic designer, but I'm not an illustrator. So whatever. That's why this works. So
it works well. It works.
Yeah.
Just don't buy a laser because you're going to cut me out of it.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
My dog's coming back again. So, all right, let's wrap this up. Again, although we just mentioned irealm.ws, you can also find us on YouTube and Instagram, and you can find the audio version on any of your favorite places you like to listen to podcasts. We're pretty much everywhere. And be sure to follow us, like, subscribe, share with your friends and family, and let us know what you want to hear, who you want us to try to get to interview. But we have some pretty cool people coming up. Not as cool as Allie, but actually, trying to get Ernie to come on. Ernie is Bob Gurr's manager. He runs Haunted OC.
Yes.
I would love to get Bob Gurr on here. Maybe Ernie.
That would be very cool. Oh my gosh.
But also trying to get a crossover kind of thing with Joey over at Disney Universe podcast, where he'll come on ours and we'll come on theirs. I was on his couple years ago.
A couple months ago. Couple
on
years ago.
Joey's, yeah. Leaving today, I was on.
I'm thinking of the other one. Yeah, I'm thinking of leaving today podcast.
Probably about a half year ago, I was on that one.
Okay.
All good friends of mine. So.
Yeah, they're all pretty cool. So.
And
I'm excited to keep watching. Thank you guys for having me on. It's been so fun, and it was good with you guys. So.
Thanks for tolerating my internet issues.
I've been there. I was there earlier tonight, so
it's funny because it happened out of the blue. Like everything was fine, and then all of a sudden it just cut out. I'm like, what's going on? New modem. They fixed the wire where she chewed it, and still the issue is happening. So it's nothing even to do with my equipment.
Oh man.
And the worst thing is I had to wait an extra day. I tried to climb the ladder to get to bosses of the bosses to get somebody to schedule somebody today, and they just weren't having it. I still need to go call and complain to somebody, but
it worked because we had our
It's like this is going to be a pain to edit, but
Oh, that's right.
This might not come out on Sunday where it should, but
we'll you have fun with that, Jason.
Yeah.
I will. First, I got to finish the other one, so that video will actually come out on Friday. The C one. So
the SBA one. That'll be so good. I'm excited about that. So
yeah, I have stupid skits in there, and it was going to be one thing, and then it turned into another, and then now I'm like, because I used AI to write it, and I was going to talk about the AI, and I did, and then stuff happens when there's AI threatening your life to share that was done with AI. That's all I'm going to say.
AI is crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's little Bobby Paycheck stealing my map. That's in there.
Oh.
Bobby Paychecks. He steals a map.
There you go. I have to watch. I'm invested. I have to know what happens. How did you get them? How did you get it back?
Well, we won't know. That's going to be in our video.
We're tuning Friday.
We have to make the video for the maps, and then little Bobby Paychecks is going to get revenge.
There you go.
Revenge on him. Whatever. All right. And
thanks again, Allie.
Thank you again for having me on.
Yeah.
And then I just want to mention again all our links, although I'll put them down below, but discovermagic.com. And one last thing is, if you want to be a part of this show, you can leave us a voice message on our Spotify page. Again, you can find that in the link. And as long as you're not being rude or saying a lot of bad words, you have something constructive.
There you go.
We might play your message on
Instagram and tell them.
Yeah. We'll play your message on the next episode. So do that. Leave us a message. Leave us a message. Leave us a message.
Yes.
Yeah, you.
On that note, me.
I know. Allie, leave us a message. We'll play it next time.
I will. I will.
All right. That concludes it. And we'll see you again next time.
All right, everybody. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
End of line.